Hello, it's time for Combat Patrol Carnage. So we're back with issue 17 and we're on to our gaming articles. So we start to learn one of the awesome aspects of the game, which is all about using command points and stratagems. In Combat Patrol, each faction has a small selection of stratagems, and there's a few universal ones as well. We'll learn about the universal command reroll in this issue, as we have a little tutorial article to cover before we dive into our game, which sees our Psychophage and Librarian in a bitter duel with their forces backing them up. So yeah, let's head to table and do that. But before we do, don't forget to do all the usual. Drop me a comment down below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. If you're enjoying the battles reports, please let me know, and let me know if you want to see a bit more of a full battle report from outside the magazine. I have quite a few other combat patrols, and I can easily do a more detailed combat patrol game using different armies that we're not getting in the collection. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comment section, and I'll try to do something. Finally then, Combat Patrol Carnage is proudly sponsored by warbay.shop, your one-stop supply for all your hobby needs. They have a large selection of new and used models for various different armies and even game systems. They also stock painting supplies and your gaming aids such as dice and tokens. Finally, they stock Combat Patrol magazine as well as previous partworks from Hachette. So if you want some extra issues, check them out. There's a link in the video description and get some advance orders in while you can. Right, let's head to the table and have ourselves a bit of a rumble. So here we are back with issue 17 for a final time, and yeah, here we have literally everything we have for both sides except for the spare Infernus Marine and the Ripper Swarm, as we have a pretty big battle to play through. So 10 termagants, the Psychophage, the Winged Prime, the Barb Gaunts, and 3 Von Ryan's Leapers make up the Tyrannid side, while the Captain and Librarian in Terminator armor, the 5 Terminators and 5 Infernus Marines make up the Space Marine side. So yeah, we have quite a big battle to do. So we'll move all this to the one side. We'll look at our new rules, which are all about command points. And we also have, of course, our command point tokens, which you can put to use in the battle. So let's dive straight on in. Right then, so we got some rules to look up first. So let's turn to our rules page and check out command points and stratagems. The right gambit at the right time can change the course of an entire battle. This is represented in Warhammer 40,000 by command points and stratagems. The first is a special resource you generate each turn, which can be spent to activate the second. Tactical ploys, tricks, and special maneuvers with powerful effects. Command points. Command points, or CP, are vital resources spent to use stratagems. At the beginning of each command phase, yours and your opponents, you generate a single CP. You hold on to your command points until they are spent. You gain command points at the beginning of the turn before anything else happens. Use the tokens provided below or a notebook to keep track of your command points. Try to spend your command points regularly. It's better to spend your points early than to save them and never use them. So in the command phase, both players will score or gain 1 command point. Stratagem breakdown. In future issues, you'll receive more stratagems, including special stratagems that can only be used by specific factions. The rules for each stratagem will tell you when you have to use that stratagem, what it can target if relevant, and what the effects of the stratagem is. For example, the command reroll stratagem can be used after you have made a certain type of rolls, and lets you attempt that roll again. Many stratagems, such as this one, can be used in your opponent's turn, not just yours. So we actually do have the data cards for the faction-specific stratagems and stuff, but we don't get those rules as of yet. I think we do get them in probably one of the next issues in the next delivery, but yeah, we don't have them as of yet. But yeah, then we have our command point tokens. So cut these out. They'll be very helpful. So, command reroll. Command reroll is a simple stratagem, but one of the most useful in any general's arsenal. It allows you to reroll a crucial dice roll. Perfect for when you need a particular attack to work, or when you cannot afford to fail a save roll. In this guide, you'll learn how command reroll stratagem works, alongside some top tips and when and how to use it. Example 1, save reroll. Command reroll is great for rerolling save rolls. In this example, the captain is on the verge of being slain. He fails his save, and so the Space Marine player spends a command point to reroll it. The second save is success. So he fails on a 1, gets a reroll with command point, and makes a success. Example 2, charge reroll. Long charges are less likely to succeed, but certain units, such as the Tyranid Prime, want to be in combat as soon as possible. By using a command reroll to reroll the charge distance, you have a greater chance of success. So fails charge on an 8, spends a point to reroll it, gets an 11, and he's in. So here we are with our latest scenario 13, Bring It Down. The Space Marine Librarian has been ambushed by a Psychophage. With his squad down, he must hold out before a relief force can help him. But the Tyranids have reinforcements of their own on the way. A ferocious battle breaks out for both territory and survival. In this mission, you will get to use the command reroll stratagem for the first time. Remember to generate command points at the beginning of each player's turn, and to use the stratagem. So, Space Marine units: Captain and Terminator armor, 5 Infernus Marines, 5 Terminators, and Librarian. Tyranid units: Psychophage, Tyranid Prime, 10 Termagants, 3 Von Rhein's Leapers, and 5 Barbgaunts. How to win. In this mission, you score victory points as follows: 5 for one objective, 5 for 2, and 5 for more than the opponent. So we have 1 deployment zone, 1 objective in each deployment zone, and 2 in no man's land. So yeah, we've got to make sure we spread our force quite away in order to get as much as we can. And we need to remember we have quite a few rules to use, so we've got stuff like infiltrators and deep strike we can use to our benefit. After that, we got a few examples. So the Tyranids in this example get first turn and surge forward as best they can. As you see here, the Von Rhein's Leapers have been deployed in infiltrate, move up onto an objective. Termagants surge forward and shoot at the Infernus Marines, while the Barbgaunt sits still and shoots at the Terminators. And we got the Librarian in the duel there. So the Captain, I'm guessing, is being kept off board to deep strike later, as is the Winged Prime. And yeah, we'll see these obviously come in later on as the game progresses. Alright then. I'll set up the battlefield and we can get on with our scenario. So here we are set up. As you can see, my awesome 3D printed terrain. Well, not 3D printed. This is actually barrels and crates from a spare armoured container from Conquest magazine. Not Conquest, Imperium. But yeah, they were with Conquest as well. Because I still had my containers from Conquest, I didn't really build the Imperium ones, so I cut all these out. Some spare weapons and bits from my bits box. And yeah, I just need to find some tyres and some sort of containers and boxes and stuff, this one here, and I'll make up those. I might try and do the Tyranid ones, but I don't really have anything Tyranidy. I could make that if I pick up a spare Broodlord, just use his base as some scatter terrain. That one is again just 3 barrels. I need to find some sort of crates from somewhere. Those are going to be the hardest to make. But anyway, less of that, more on rolling to see who sets up first. As you can see, the Librarian and Psychophage are already deployed in the middle. Ooh, Space Marine's only got a 2, so can Tyranids get first deployment? They can with a 3. So, starting with the Tyranids, we will deploy our units. So there we are, all deployed. Terminators have been joined by the Captain for a change, as I can't put the Librarian with them. So they're on Objective 1. Infernus Marines are here, ready to move up. Termagants deployed this corner. Barbgaunts over there. Leapers up there. And the Prime is going to try and deep strike in later on in the game. So what's left to do is to roll to see who gets first turn. And that is Space Marines with a 3. So Space Marine turn 1. So, end of movement phase then. So, at start of turn, we did score 10 points as we had one objective, which is actually more than the opponent. So, we scored 10 points. Both players have generated 1 command point each. I've put it on the commander card for the moment, as you can see here on the Tyranny Prime. Space Marines are just off the side. For Space Marine movement, I've moved up, making sure I keep 2 Terminators at least in range of objective 1 there. Shooting, so the Librarian can't shoot. And technically, they're hidden by cover. So the only thing I can shoot would be the Barb Gaunts, or I could even shoot towards the Termagants there. We'll go with the Barb Gaunts, because they're a little more harder to reach. The Termagants have to draw close anyway. Inferno Squad can't really do anything. They're going to hide behind the terrain for the moment, though. So I'll do my shooting, and I'll be back. So that's shooting done. The Space Marine Captain and the Terminator Squad opened up at the Barb Gaunts, and we've actually managed to slay 2 of them. Got 1 devastating wound from the Assault Cannon, and everything else was just heavy fire, basically. Could have done with sustained hits. Got quite a few 6s to hit. Speaking of sustained hits, it's onto our duel in the middle here. So, Space Marine's turn. I don't think it mentions about anyone counting as charged, so in that case it would be the Psychophage to fight first. 2 + 1 is 3, so not many attacks. Hitting on... Let's pick the card up, it's easier. Hitting on a 3+, only 1. Wounding on a 3+, 4s are devastating, so I'm hitting a Psycho, and I failed to wound. 4 attacks from the 4 sacks then, with our Terminator Librarian. He's also hit on 3, but he has sustained hits, I think. No, but only while he's leading a unit, so he doesn't get sustained. 3 hits though. And strength, 6, toughness 9. It's going to be 5s. Only the 1 on a 6. No devastating. So, but it is a -1 AP, so the 3 up armor down to a 4 up armor, which he passes. So that's it for Space Marines turn 1. On to Tyranids turn 1. So, start of the command phase, we each gain a command point, giving us 2. No battle shock is needed because the Barb Gaunts are still above half the unit size. So, on to movement phase, I think we will advance our Termagants up the board. So, a 3 to their movement of 6 gives them 9 inches. I'll be back after I do all my movement. End of the Tyranid movement phase. So, as I said, the Barb Gaunts, Termagants advanced. They got the 9, which only gets them to this far. But I've put them, thanks to that distance, in a position that they can still shoot. Leapers are moving up. Barb Gaunts have moved to actually sit around objective 4 so that they can score points. But the Space Marines are still ahead by 10 at the moment. So it's time to do some shooting. So let's start by opening fire with the Termagants. I'll be right back after this. End of shooting phase. Nothing actually happened. Termagants did shoot at the Infernus Marines, only getting 2 wounds, which they saved. Barb Gaunts did a lot better. They got 19 shots with just the 3 of them. But hitting on 4s did cost me 2 extra hits. But we did get 7 wounds through in the end. But yeah, the Terminators just shrugged them off. They didn't care. On to the charge phase then. I think I will try getting the Leapers in. They have to charge through the terrain, which will cut off 3 inches from their charges. So they're going to need an 11-inch charge to make it. I might be able to use a command reroll here. So let's bring the dice tray in. So We'll roll the Leaper's charge. A fail on a 5. We'll spend one of our command points to re-roll that. A 9 is still not going to be enough. Because it's... we can't clear the terrain, though, that's the problem. We make it, but we can't clear the terrain, so I'm going to have to count that as a fail. That means the Leapers are sat in the open. Onto the fight phase then, so this is the important bit to show. So we got the Librarian. 4 attacks first of these 4 sacks. Missing twice. Wounding none. D6 plus 1 for the lashing tendrils. 3 again. He's not that hungry. Hits twice. Wounding on 3s, 4s are devastating. 1 fail, 1 devastating though. So there's no save for the Librarian. So this is 2 damage to him. Ouch. I think it might be time to make a tactical retreat before I get nommed. Speaking of, that's the end of the fight phase. That's the end of Tyranids turn 1. Space Marines are still in the lead with 10 points, but things can soon shift. So, here we go with Space Marines turn 2. End of movement phase, we scored 5 points for 1 objective, which was only this one over here. Librarian has fallen back, ready for the Terminators to be able to charge in. He can't shoot anything, but the Infernus Marines and the Terminators can. So on to the shooting phase for them. I'll be right back after this. So as you can see, the Infernus Marines have just wasted the termagants. 14 successful wounds, 4 successful saves. That didn't go too well. So for the Terminators, I'm going to shoot at the Leapers and then charge into this guy. So I'll do the shooting for them and I'll be right back. So after that, the Leapers are a member down with 1 more wounded. So we're on to the charge phase. Bring the dice tray in because it's important to get this on camera. Don't think we can charge because we're like 2 inches away. Yeah, we're in with a 7, so... what we'll do is try to avoid the Leapers. We'll go 7 over here. As we're not going over the terrain, we're going through the soft part of it. You can go straight. This guy is going to have to only move 4 because he has to go over the terrain, and the Captain will also only be able to go 4, but he can still, he's been free to pile in. Other than that, that's it for charges. So on to the fight phase. I'll be right back after the fight. So after that fight, the Psychophages took 3 wounds, 1 from a power fist, 1 from a power sword. Captain didn't get a single wound through. But yeah, luckily though, we had 1 Terminator who can't quite make engagement range, so he's unable to throw his fist in. But yeah, things are about to change for the Tyranids. So speaking of, it's on to Tyranid turn 2, and I think we're going to start spending some CP as we both have quite a lot. Well, Space Marines have 4, Tyranids only have 1. Less, sorry. Start of our turn, we do score 5, 10 points. We don't have more. Yes, we do have more because there's nobody controlling this one. So we score the maximum, 15, putting us on equal footing. And I think I might have to bring the Prime in somewhere. I'm thinking a rear assault. Yeah, if I bring him down... Can't bring him down right on objective 1, but I can bring him down around here. Ready to go for the Infernus Marines from the rear. Right, with that, on to the Tyranid shooting phase. It's just going to be the barbed gaunts at the Infernus Marines. So I may as well do this on camera. 3d6 shots, plus 1 because it's a 5-man unit they're shooting at. And they got piss all this time around. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 1 plus 1 is 2. Let's do some maths. That's nothing. Hitting on 3s, they haven't moved this time around though. And they still failed 4 shots. Wounding on 4s, nothing. Wow, Tyranids are doing terrible today. Wounding rolls have been abysmal. Sorry, end of movement phase then. We're going to bring this guy down. So the librarian is the closest. So if I bring him down just there, just over 9. So that means I'm going to need an 11-inch charge to get to the Infernus Marines. Not ideal, but I can do it. Speaking of charging, leapers into Terminators. Prime. Yeah, I'll go for the Infernus Marines as it's easier to reach. Although I do ignore terrain because I can fly. I'd still need an 11 to get to the Librarian. Let's do it. Alright. 11 to get to the Librarian. Try and eat him up. Fail will command point a reroll. A 9 is a fail. Still sat in the open. Ouch. Leapers then can't really fail. Yeah, the 3 gets them in. So they'll charge the captain. And with that, it's on to the fight phase. So Leapers will fight first with 6 attacks each. And it's starting to snow. Hitting on 3s, wounding on strength 5, tough 5, 4s. 3 minus 1, 2 up down to a 3 up. All saved. Space Marines to pick a unit. We've only got the 1 unit that's in combat. The captain, though, as he isn't going to do much damage against the Psychophage, he's going to turn his power sword to the Leapers. Still missing twice. Wounding on 4s. Just 1. Minus 2, so a 6 up save. Nope. That's 2 damage through, killing the wounded Leaper. They will need to battle shock next turn. Space Marines unit still fighting, so 3 Power Fist attacks. Hitting on 3s. 1 guy has missed. Wounding on 5s. For 2, minus 2, 3 up down to 5 up. Made 1, failed 1, 2 damage going through, 2 5 up, feel no pains. Passed both, so no damage at all. 4 attacks then with the Sergeant's Power Sword. Hits 3, wounds none. Cool. Psychophage strikes back, Tentacle more, maximum attack. Sweet, that's what I like to see. 6 plus 1. Hits on 3s. And it's strength 6, toughness 5, wounding on 3s. Only 1 fails. Sweet. 4 damage. Terminators. So these are damaged 2 attacks. So 2 saves at a time. And minus 1. Fine. Failed 1, so 2 damage through to a Terminator. And with that, that is the end. I'll put it on the Sergeant because his weapons are useless really against this guy. That is the end of Tyranids turn 2. So yeah, with the Prime now out in the open over there. He's about to be in a world of hurt as its Space Marines turn 3. So, end of the movement phase on turn 3. I've just checked the magazine. We only have 4 turns in order to win. So, victory points at the end of turn 4 is the winner. We are currently in the lead by 5 points. We've got a lot of CP to spend. We haven't learnt the rules that says we can use a stratagem once per phase yet. So, I'm going to abuse the system and get as many rerolls as I can in the shooting phase. So, speaking of shooting phase, Librarian and First Marines are going to open up on the Prime, and that's all we can do. I'll be right back after everything's been done. Actually, seeing as it is kind of an important round, let's do a lot of this on camera. So, D6 Smite. Well, there's my first spend. I'm going to re-roll that to see if I can get a better amount of smites. No, I can't. Single smites, focus witchfire, so we'll have to take hazardous. 3 to hit. It hits. Strength 6, toughness 5, freeze wound. It wounds. -2 and D3 damage, so Prime gets a 6-up save. Nope, I'm going to spend a CP to try and reroll that. He does, he survives. Sweet, so no damage. Hazardous though, he's fine. Infernus Marines, 5d6 shots at the... Oh, hang on. Rapid fire Stormbolter. 3 shots. Wounding on 5s. I'll take that. 1. 4-up save. Failed. Let's use another CP to try and save that, although it is only 1 damage. That's passed. Sweet. 5d6 shots then from the Infernus Marines. Lots. Sweet. So that's 5. I'll be back enough to add this up. 21 auto hitting. Just double check I'm all in range. Yes. 21 auto hitting on Strength 5, Tough 5 4s. That's a lot. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 saves on the Prime. 3, 7, 9, 10, 11. This is going to hurt. He's still healthy, so I need to pass most of these. 4+ saves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Even with a command reroll, he's dead. He's died so much he's fallen down on his card. Ouch. That went as well as planned, but not for the Tyranids, I'm afraid. Space Marines, fighting. So that's all the shooting done. On to the fight phase. I'll do a lot of this off camera, so I'll be right back after the fight. End of the fight phase then, and the Psychophage is starting to feel its wounds. It's down to 3 wounds remaining, so not many. I did manage to get a couple of wounds through with the Power Sword, even though it shrugged off most of the Power Fist attacks. The Captain slew the last Leaper with plenty of damage going through. And it's on to the Tyranids, but I think I'm going to call it there. No, we're just out of there. We are going to score 5 points, which puts us equal. But we don't really have the numbers to regain points after that. The Psychophage isn't going to last much longer. And yeah, the Barbed Gaunts are... It's just a matter of time before somebody goes over and kills them. But my main plan for the Space Marines next turn is to keep the Librarian here, move the Infernus Marines over to the objective. Although it is going to be the last turn, so we wouldn't score any points afterwards. But yeah, it's... That's the point though. It could be a Tyranid victory if I play all the way, because if I don't die, so if the Barbed Gaunts don't die... Because, yeah, we are only one turn away. So we score 5 points. And if we are still alive by the time we get to our turn, the Psychophage will probably die in my turn. I mean, the Terminator is going to be open for the Space Marine's turn. Yeah, I'm calling it as a Space Marine victory, just because it's going to just take way too long otherwise. I will play it out off camera though, finish off the battle, because I like to make sure I finish things. But we'll call it a Space Marine victory for the fact of recording. Any different, I'll let you know when I'm back at the table. See you shortly. Okay, this time I'm actually recording with my mic on, so things should sound a little better. So here we are back at the magazine. It's time for our victory speech. And it was a Space Marine victory at the time of calling the game, although the game does end on a draw, as the Barb Gaunts were still alive to claim 5 victory points at the start of their turn. At the end of Tyranid turn 3, the Psychophage did die. So turn 4 would have been the Space Marines moving up, killing the Barb Gaunts. But yeah, it would have still been 20 points to 20 points, so it would have been technically a draw. But at the time we called the game, it was a Space Marine victory, so that's what we will go with. The Space Marines have secured this battlefield, although they have sacrificed much to do so. Actually, they sacrificed 1 Infernus Marine. The Librarian got wounded, Terminator Sergeant got wounded, that was it. An apothecary is summoned to extract the gene seeds of the honoured dead so it may be used to forge new Space Marines, for many will be needed in the brutal battles to come. For now, though, the Tyranids have been driven back. Would have been nice if we had an apothecary of this collection. Nice addition to perhaps the Infernus squad instead of the chaplain on bike. But yeah, here's what it is. I mean, yeah. Right, speaking of future issues, we do get a look at the future 20 issues. So we have the Eldari with the Guardians, the Wraith Guard, Wraith Lord, Jet Bikes, and led by the Farseer. We get a brand new battle mat so we can play bigger battles. So pushing these two together will give us the full Combat Patrol sized battle mat. So yeah, brand new battle mats. Your battles are about to get bigger. Fight battles with 2 new combat patrols, giving you new strategies to master and more ways to win. Unlock new ways to play your existing combat patrols with rules and unique stratagems, enhancements, and more. So yeah, the rule cards we got with issue 15 aren't going to be covered until we start looking at the next 20 issues, which is kind of a bit of a drag out, but yeah, it's fine. Speaking of the opponents of the Eldari, then, for another combat patrol, we get the Chaos Space Marines, harnessing the dark powers of the gods with a Dark Apostle, 10 Legionnaires, 5 Havocs, 5 Terminators, and the Hellroot. So, what's our next issue? Well, we know that. Issue 18 is our final frame to finish building our termagants. We have our paint guide in there, so I've got one guy sat to the side ready to show you how to paint. We learn about successor chapters, and we field our full Tyranid force against a small Space Marine force fighting a sort of withdrawal campaign. Issue 19, we get our first special bonus to our combat patrols, which is the Parasite of Mortrex. So we learn about the Tyranid Vanguard beast, the Parasite of Mortrex. We, of course, get a way to add him to our combat patrol, which is by removing the Barb Gaunts and putting him in. We learn a bit about the Great Crusade, and we have lore, or possibly a new story for the Silver Templars. I'm hoping it is a bit about lore, because we've had short stories. I think we had like 1 page of lore in the early issues, but yeah, it would be nice if we get some actual lore for the Silver Templars at last. But anyway, that is it for... Oops, sorry. Showing off my awesome terrain there. But there we have it. That was issue 17 of Combat Patrol. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you found the battle enjoyable, the build guide useful, and the lore informative. I'm off to finish building the termagants. And yeah, we got some really good issues to come in the near future. I'm hoping my delivery should arrive should be shipped this Friday the 10th. Should be getting it hopefully around the 18th to the 20th. So yeah, I'll let you know as soon as it arrives. But for now, that's it. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time on more Combat Patrol Carnage. Goodbye.